let's talk about Jesus' existence. Everyone thinks of Jesus as like a supernatural existence, and obviously that is so true. It is true. A lot of it comes down to supernatural encounters with Jesus. That is true, and that is a huge part of it. But what about the people who haven't had that yet, and they just pay no attention to if Jesus was real or not? They just push it off and move on with their life. But we're talking about the Son of God, the person who died and resurrected so that we could all do the same if we put our faith with him, put our faith in him. It's about your life. Like, you care about your life, right? So you gotta give this thing a thought, because once you die, where are you gonna go? Where do you want to go for the rest of eternity? So I want to talk about the actual manuscripts. So for Jesus, we have over 5,800 Greek, that's just Greek, manuscripts that prove Jesus' existence. We all believe in Julius Caesar, right? We all know that Julius Caesar was a prominent figure in history also. He only has 10 manuscripts ever written about him, and we believe in Julius Caesar. And I'm pretty sure, this might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that the earliest one we know of was 1,000 years after he died. Well, the earliest finding we have of one is 1,000 years after he had died. The closest ever writings we've got to Jesus is the letters of Apostle Paul, written 3 years after his death, 3 years after the crucifixion. Paul then talks about his meetings with Simon and other disciples of Jesus, who obviously told him and give him their witness and eyewitness account of seeing Jesus rise from the dead. Maybe you're thinking, it's all just Christians talking about their delusions of a saviour. Well, there's actually quite a few of manuscripts that are written from non-Christians. A Roman soldier or general or something writing letters to another one, talking about his interactions with Christians and the person that they follow, Jesus. He talks about this in a letter. Other Jewish historians have written Jesus in their letters to other people from thousands of years ago. It's not just Christians that acknowledge his existence. Then there's the Dead Sea Scrolls, which were discovered, containing nearly the whole book of Isaiah. If you didn't know, the book of Isaiah prophesies Jesus' existence and about a man who will die and suffer for the sins of the world. And that's what Jesus did. The Dead Sea Scrolls are dated to 200 years before Jesus was born. So there's another prophecy fulfilled. Then people want to talk about religion. If one is true, then why is there so many? Well, that was an argument I used to use before I accepted Christ. But something my friend said to me when I wasn't a Christian: nearly every religion points to Jesus. Well, there's the three Abrahamic religions. You've got Judaism, you've got Christianity, and Islam. Islam does accept Jesus' existence, but not that he was the Son of God. We're not going to get into that in this video, but Jesus is real in Islam. Judaism just don't accept that he was the Messiah and that he wasn't God to save them. And then if you look at other religions, Jesus may not be a figure in those religions, but many people from those religions accept Jesus as a good teacher. So most religions, although they don't actually acknowledge his existence in the religion because a lot of them are older, they still look at Jesus as a good teacher. The fact that there's so many religions proves that there's a longing and a spiritual awareness that there is something above us and out of our world, our reality. It shows that people are connected, but it's the way that they interpret it is wrong, and that's how we lead to different religions. Now that we've acknowledged Jesus' existence, now it's whether or not, if he was actually the Son of God and did the miracles he did in the Bible, whether he did them or not. Well, think about this. If Jesus was just a normal man with good teachings, how come most of the world records its history from that moment? Like, the way we count our years starts at Jesus's birth. Starts when Jesus arose. It's like, if he was just a normal man, how come he's had such a massive impact that the whole world basically follows the point of his birth in years? Not a normal man can't leave such a massive impact like that just because of good teachings. He must have done something that was extraordinary and out of this world to be able to have such an impact. You see, you do you understand what I'm trying to say? I didn't explain that very well, but yeah. But you don't believe in God, right? You believe in science. So let's take a look at some of the greatest and most prominent figures in science. Isaac Newton, regarded as one of the greatest scientists of all time by many scientists. He was Christian. Galileo was. Then you have people like Albert Einstein, regarded as one of the smartest people to have ever lived. He once stated that the more he researches and finds out in science, the more it makes him believe in a God because of the such perfect order and design. Everyone knows that quote, but you got to think about it, like, actually deeply. Then you have Nikola Tesla. He, even though he wasn't Christian, he still believed that there was a being responsible for the universe in a God. Same with James Watt. He believed that there was someone responsible for the universe. So think about people like that. Then you have all of his disciples and everyone who witnessed him risen from the dead. Now, if they were lying, why would they die such horrible, brutal deaths for a lie? Historically, they all died in horrific ways, claiming that they did see Jesus risen from the dead. Now, I don't know anyone who would go through such excruciating pain and suffering and death like that if they didn't fully believe and know what they saw. They knew what they saw, so they died for it, to tell the truth so that the world can know about Jesus. Now, again, as I said at the beginning, a lot of it falls down to personal experience and encounters with Jesus. I've personally had two myself, but let's get into how that proves and helps solidify Jesus' existence. Many people around the world right now are rapidly turning to Christ because they're having visions. People who wouldn't have paid any attention to Christ in the past are having visions, are actually physically seeing Jesus in dreams and visions, that it's converting them to Christianity. This is all around the world, mainly in the Middle East, but it's growing. Christianity is growing rapidly, and it's crazy. Another thing is when a lot of cases where people have had near-death experiences, or before people die, most of them, not most, but a lot of cases have claimed that they've seen Jesus, that they've seen Jesus talking to them in near-death experiences, and where they're dying. There's one where a boy, as he was dying, he couldn't speak, but he was trying to speak to his mum. This is a real case, I'm not making this up. And the mum knew that he was trying to say something to her, so just before he died, she gave him a pad and a pen so he can write his final words to her, and he wrote, "Jesus is real." Like a 7-year-old, I can't remember his age, I think it was 7 years old. But there's a lot of cases where stuff like this is happening. Yeah, man. Again, personal experiences and having your prayers answered, again, where I was so down that I needed to be prayed for, and I felt too nervous to go up and speak to anyone about it, and a random person I've never met before comes over and says, "Jesus told me you need to be prayed for," and then proceeded to pray for everything that was happening in my life to get better. You can't explain that. Jesus is real. You need to think more about it and give time to explore. You don't lose anything by looking into it and praying or anything like that. You don't lose anything in trying, because when you find out that Jesus is real, you're only going to gain something, which is life and Jesus' love. Everyone already has it, but you become aware of it. So look into it and take that time, man. Trust me.